Alright, for ground textures and things like that nature, there are no rules. At least then none of that I can think of. So for this case, I have this big, huge ground plane. Since I don't have the tileability features within a game engine, I can use Maya's ability to tile via the UVs. So in this case, I have this ground, and all I did was make it really super small and really super high res, so I can zoom in, and then I made it so you can tile it. And I used the same capabilities that I did with the roof. Here in Maya, I took the UVs for this giant platter, and I stretched them beyond belief. Okay. Now again, this is just for the showmanship of this. Certainly this isn't too legit, but it works out. See, I can actually get really good resolution by just going like that. And a lot of times I'll just zoom in on an area and then scale it and make sure that it looks good next to everything else. Cool. So that's how you do the ground. Last but not least, we have to add an environmental lighting system. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. It's very super simple. If you click here, you have the ability to go to indirect lighting and say image-based lighting and create. It'll make this giant sky dome. Okay. Now we need a light in order for that sky dome to work. We're going to just go brand new document, 1024 by 1024, and we're going to make a document here that's HDR. Image mode, 32-bit. And then I'm going to fill this document with a gray, a really dark gray. To fill here, the fill tool won't work. I'll have to go edit fill. 32-bit, the fill tool fails. Then I make a new layer. I make a brush. I make a really soft brush. I set that brush to linear dodge add. And I set the layer to linear dodge add. I choose a blue, make my brush really big, and click a couple times. Even once will do it. But if you want to get it really bright, or you can go like that. Now you can expose this down just a little bit by just going into here and adding an exposure, and I can expose it back. There's a lot of information here, more than you'll ever know, because it's 32-bit, so it's like having, a million documents already open at the same time and all adding together. So File, Save As. This is going to be an HDR map. This is only relevant to Maya. It will not work in the UDK. I'll put it as sky. Go back here and then go look for that map. In this case, I'm looking for Video Warehouse desktop. Sky HDR. And there we go. So with that in place, I should have Final Gather set on. And I'm just going to render out the scene just to see what this looks like. I might have to add a couple more point lights too. Yep, gonna have to add some more point lights. I can either do that or I can brighten that map up. So I can go like this. Oops. Then go back to Maya. Now to update that, I don't think I have to really update it. I think it'll update via render. Yep. And there we go. So that's a very nice way of making atmospheric light that matches the night sky. I'd probably want it a little brighter, but what's going to look cool is having it inside the building and looking outside. I laid down a general wood texture on the floor here. I just built a box and threw the wood on there. What would look cool is light coming in the windows. Okay, so let's make a general moon texture or moonlight coming in. We use a directional light for that. I aim it so it's aimed down at the building. And then we add some shadows to it. Ray trace shadows. Okay, so now let's look on the inside of the building as we render it. So now we got those nifty shadows coming. The light's a little strong, so I'll have to turn it down. But that's pretty cool. Got a couple more squares at the very top I gotta fix. This should add a nice atmospheric light on the outside of the building too, so at this corner of the building you'll see a nice shadow. See how much better that looks? Yeah. So those long shadows really definitely help it. Alright, so I'm going to let you experiment with lights. Just know it all changes when we get into a game engine anyway, but these lights will get you by for right now. Much better. And certainly that sky texture, you know, if I went like this and went moonlit sky and look for something with clouds, you can certainly add that to that map and it will not hurt it whatsoever. But it is not a sky dome. It's not to be treated as a sky dome, but you can use clouds to make the color look a little bit better. So something corny like this is going to look weird. So copy image. I'm just going to show you this. But now if I treated it like this, that might not look bad at all. I think the moon would be a little strong. Again, I would probably use something else for this, like linear dodge add or some of the soft light capabilities. maybe multiply and then set it down just a little bit. And then save that. Experiment around. There is no right or wrong with the HDR map. It's just all fun and games. Okay, so I think we got it down to the point where it's now an assignment that can be handed in. Much better. See how toned down the sky is, and it's got a whole bunch of different variations of blue in there now. And all those variations of blue are adding to the texture too. That's the thing about Final Gather. It reminds me of light mass. It definitely calculates for the color of the sky in with the texture and merges the two together. Alright, let's go on to the next video.